What up? What up? What in the world is up? This is Mike the Philosopher here with another one. This one is not RTL, but Make a Move, okay? And this is with Crystal for Make a Move. Now, she has a special guest. Her special guest is Mizell from Make a Move. I thought I'd cover this. Haven't seen this before. I'm not going to hold you. Let's go in.
The issue between men and women feel like if there's any interest, a man is supposed to. We are really locked into the romance books where the guy is like, the girl's like, I don't want it. And he's like, no, come here. Like,
we were together. We're trying to get to know. It was too soon to pull that trigger.
It was too soon. Well, you know what? I want to bring our guest in because this gentleman was on the show. He was on the show. He wasn't with Ashley. He was introduced to us with my girl, Sharice. And you guys know I have a soft spot for Sharice, right? Yeah. So Gumboss says all women just want to talk, but that is a part of it. Women, we do. He said, it's, at this point, she said, no, it's time to talk. And he's like, no, I don't have anything else to say. Let's bring in our guest, Mizell. Let's bring Mizell in. Mizell, welcome. Welcome, Mizell. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Mizell.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate this opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this hump day. Are you doing all right? Your week been all right so far?
Now, if y'all been watching me, I want to say I kind of shredded Mizell, but I had questions. Let's just put it that way. How can a brother your age not know that women talk? How can a brother your age not know how to answer some of these follow-up questions? How can a brother your age not move with a certain level of relationship and feminine intelligence to maneuver around this situation? How could a brother your age lie about losing a bag or whatever the case may be? How could a brother your age not know how to move with these women? The only guys I would give a pass to are guys who've been married a long time. They've been out of the game so long, they don't know how to move when it comes to dating and dealing with what I would consider modern women. I don't know Mizell's past. I don't know if he was married before. I don't know if he was with someone for a long time. If he has, I'll give him a bit of a pass, but he still should know the nature of women. So I decided to cover this because, and I don't know how much of this I'm going to get into, but I had questions with this brother. How could you not know at your age, bro? You should be a scientist. Okay, you should be giving me advice. I'm younger than him by some years, but my whole point is he should be giving me advice. So you should know how to move, bro. Let me give this brother a chance to explain himself on why he moved the way he did with the women. Let's go in.
It's been fantastic. Definitely, it's been fantastic.
Okay. All right, Mizell, I see you with the guns out. Okay. Mizell came ready for the ladies tonight. I see it.
Oh, look at this brother gonna flex his arm like
I got to do that for my boy Mo because he's been on me.
Let's start from the beginning, Mizell, because that's one of the things I've said. I've had this conversation. We had this conversation last night on IG with some friends. I really don't, it interests me what draws men to reality TV, because I don't think that men have that romantic idea that they're going to go on a TV show and fall in love? What made you want to be on Ready to Love, Make a Move?
Oh God, great question. For myself, you know what? I thought it was a great opportunity to debunk the misrepresentation that men have as being romantics, and also, you know, like the age of men being gentlemen and women being able to trust us. I thought it would be a great opportunity to be able to kind of show what that looks like from a more seasoned man's perspective who's actually lived and, trust me, had some experiences with women in relationships. So for me, you know, and then you got to also understand, initially we thought that it was going to be from the perspective of all the other Ready to Love shows. We didn't realize it was going to be from other out of town having to move here. We thought we would be meeting women within our general area. So
Gotcha.
you know, so with all of that, it would have been nice to have met women from New Orleans or from the area that were more accessible. But love conquers all, and anybody will move mountains to have love. So you know, I thought that it was a great opportunity.
Okay, well, Mizell, tell us a little.
Yeah, and I do think that too, that some, and I'm just gonna keep it real. There's some guys out there who want to clout chase too. There's some guys out there who want to build up their following, their Instagram, their social media, their popularity. They want to say they've been on TV before. I don't think guys is as romantic as women when it comes to finding love, but let me say this: there's a lot of women out there who clout chasing and just want to be on TV too. Okay, women may be looking for love, but there are some out there and doing these shows for the wrong reasons. There are some women out there doing this just for clout and followers, and when women get a spotlight, they get a whole lot of support from other women. But I'd be lying if I said men wasn't like this too. Men are doing this too. And you know, look, at 55, are you looking for, you know, Twitter followers? You know, probably not, to be honest. But being on TV for some of them, it is a bucket list check off. Oh, I was on TV. Check me out. I was on Make a Move. I was on RTL, Ready to Love. You know, I was on, you know, The Love Experiment, The Bachelor, whatever, Love is Blind. I was on all those shows. So it is a check off for a lot of guys too. And what better way than to get more popular in the city than to be on that show? Now everybody in New Orleans or, you know, wherever they at, everybody, you know, they know them now. They hood famous, I guess you can call it. You know what I mean? They can go in the neighborhood and walk around and people know who they are just from seeing them on the show. So being popular, especially if you're a bachelor or a bachelorette, has its benefits. It's almost beneficial, and I'm going to just keep it real. It's almost beneficial to be a guy who's on a TV show like this and don't end up with none of the women on the show. Because then you got a lot of women in your DMs. They're probably local, okay? And you got the pick of the litter out of the whole city now. If you move your cards right, play your cards right on the show, you'll have a whole lot of women. Oh, that's Mizell. He's single. He was on the show. Let me holler at him. I liked how he moved on the show. It's almost beneficial to get on these shows and not pick anybody. Both for the men and the women. So I think that's a part of it. Let's see what Mizell say.
A little bit about your love story. What about your experiences? We know you've been in the military. We know that I love your dog Ranger. I went to your page and I love the fact that we see him. I'm a dog person, so I like that. But tell us about a little bit about your background when it comes to relationships. Have you been married? What's your background?
I have not been married. So, and I always get the question, how are you 55 and you've never been married? And I just think that it takes men, first of all, forever to mature. And then secondly, like, if you came from an era of love songs and a two-parent household, you grow up with this grandiose expectation of things looking a certain way. But we've also seen people that love each other hurt each other as well. So in saying that, it took me I was a late bloomer. It took me forever to mature. I started my military career early, went to college, I played sports. So, and I know what it is to sometimes be in a two-parent home and not hear I love you all the time. So reaching and wanting to feel certain things, and sometimes the universe designed things for you to see things in a way and happen in a way so that when you are ready and it does happen, it's going to only be one time. So like I wouldn't change the design of anything of what's happened, because I know like I'm the best version of myself that I could have ever been. I think that as much as I would have loved women or could have been in love, it wouldn't have worked out, just for the simple fact I needed time to mature. I needed time to love me. I needed all of that time.
I'm gonna have to call bullshit, y'all. All right, I'm gonna have to call it. And listen, man, if you ain't mature by 55, you ain't gonna never make it. There are teenagers that could be considered mature. Sometimes I think maturity is not wisdom, it's a mindset. It's a program in your brain that tells you right, wrong. It's a software thing. Maturity is not necessarily wisdom. Well, it is wisdom, but you could be young and be mature. If you're not mature, if you can't tell the rights from the wrongs at 55, you ain't gonna never make it, bro. You ain't gonna never make it. So you are grown probably 3 times? Close to 3 times. What, 18 plus 18 plus 18? What is that? That's 54. So you grown 3 times. If you're not mature by 55, you ain't gonna never make it. So far, this guy is turning out to be a bit of a red flag, in my opinion, as a guy. I ain't got no personal vendetta against Mizell, but I seen how he moved on the show. I see how he said he was very immature. Takes men forever to be mature. No, it don't. I was very mature at a young age. It's maturity is it's processing right from wrong. That's what mature is. Your software and your processing is, and you have emotional intelligence. You don't just have processing intelligence, but you have emotional intelligence. That's what makes you mature. So this whole, it takes men forever or whatever to get mature. No, it don't, man. You're making excuses. And I seen how you move on the show, and that wasn't very mature of you to lie. I'm not gonna try to go too hard in the paint on him. Let's hear him out some more. But I just had to call that out. I'm really not buying that whole soliloquy he just gave. Let's see what else he say though.
To see what that looked like. So and luckily I've been blessed enough to have a youthful disposition and also have all of this knowledge. So I got the best of both worlds now.
Damn it, Mizell, you were saying all right stuff. Got. I like that. I like that.
I'm glad Mo agree. I don't. This is where I pretty much agree with a lot of Mo, in a lot of ways. He be dropping science, but with this whole Mizell thing, nah, bruh, he ain't right. He said he got the youthfulness of a kid, but the wisdom. So he got the best of both worlds. Let me tell you something. Women who are 55, the same age as him, is not looking for somebody who is not mature. If a 55-year-old woman is going to date you, Mizell, she's going to expect you to be mature, not some horny little teenager who out here running around trying to rekindle his youth. Somebody who's, living his midlife crisis. Women who are younger than you are going to expect you to be mature. Okay? So both women who are the same age as you, older than you, and younger than you are going to expect you to act like a 55-year-old knowledgeable man with wisdom and maturity. 55. If they want a young guy, they will get a young guy. Okay? So this whole explanation and Mo bigging them up, I call all of it BS. Now, maybe I'm the bad guy. Maybe I'm the oddball out. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But in my opinion, that was all trash. Let's continue.
But Mo says that, it's funny because we always have this conversation where he says men are not ready to get married early. They should not be married in their 20s. Actually, my husband, who is 45, he said, he's been married before we got together. And he was like, I probably should not have been married until this time. Like, so.
Right. No. I totally agree because, but like I said, I mean, I would have loved to had the youth of somebody and the growth with somebody, and I think that's what kind of puts us in this position that we are in now. As we mature in life and we are single, we still want that youthful person, but when we're trying to date within our age demographic, what happens is that like everybody not loving themselves the same way, what I'm saying, and that can be emotionally, it could be physically, it could have so many different kind of things to it, and so that's what makes it so hard for us to kind of find our mate that we're looking for now, because we still have this grandiose expectation of wanting that person that we always wanted to love, and we want her to look a certain way, sound a certain way, act a certain way, to project herself a certain way, to be a lady.
Dang.
Oh, I'm gonna try to get through this, man. And Mo is gonna agree with him. I just think this is bullshit. This is bullshit. What? And Crystal said her husband said he wished he could have got married now instead of back then. Listen, I was married at 27. Okay. I don't regret it. Even though the marriage didn't last, I don't regret it at all. I learned a lot from that situation. A whole lot. Have a beautiful child out of that situation. I think that helped propel me to the maturity that I am now. I'm younger, much younger than Mizell. but I think I'm more mature than this guy. Probably because of the life situations that I've been through that he hasn't been through. You can only mature emotionally when you deal with certain life situations and certain life goals. I also think it's something that's innate too. I think you're born with a certain level of maturity. It's the processor, and the emotional intelligence and all of those things. Now that will probably explain why I got married relatively young at 27, because I was more mature. I was ready for it. I was mature enough to handle that responsibility. I wasn't out here chasing skirts. I was done chasing skirts, as a matter of fact, which is why I was mature enough to get married at 27. I was ready for a wife. But if you ain't mature, you're not going to be ready for a wife or a family. So all of this mumbo jumbo and Mo is co-signing. I mean, to each their own, man. But I just got a different view about it. At 55, you need to be acting like a 55-year-old man. Okay? You don't need to be out here chasing skirts like some 25-year-old dude. Act your age is what I want to say. I'm not saying you don't have a youthful spirit. Yeah, sure, have a youthful spirit if you could do that and still be mature and handle life and go through life in a mature fashion, but still be adventurous. You can still do that. But a man who don't want to be mature is a man who probably lacks a lot of, I don't want to say emotional intelligence, but just not ready for it. It's sort of kind of coddled and scared of life, scared of what life might bring them. And they don't want to deal with the big decisions of having kids, of getting a wife, getting a family, of, buying a home or whatever the case may be. I did all of that stuff at 27. Bought a home first, then I had kids first. Then I bought a home, then I got married. Now I'm not claiming to be better than Mizell, I'm not claiming to be better than Mizell. I'm just saying I'm going to need brothers to walk into their maturity. For real. I'm going to need brothers to welcome maturity and responsibility and honor and upholding the family and raising kids. I mean, I'm not just here to rag on women or, just criticize. Look, I'm an equal opportunities. I get a smoke to the brothers too. Y'all need to step up so our women will have men they can depend on instead of out here chasing skirts at 55. I don't know. This part is kind of frustrating. But let's hear the brother out. Let's go in.
I'm sorry, Mo.
No, I'm writing all this down. I'm reading.
I feel like that sounds to me like maybe, because I would say, for women, the more you mature, then you become a little bit more specific about what you want, and it can almost get to where you are too picky because it's not into real, you haven't put it into real life and real execution. What's the longest relationship you've been in, and how did that end without going to marriage?
Man, oh my God, I haven't had a bunch of long relationships. I probably the longest has been 4 years. I've had two like 4 year relationships. One I was much younger and very immature, and
Mhm.
then the one after that, I think I was still growing and still kind of and figuring out who I was, and then at the same time, I know what it is to be smiling on the outside but dying on the inside. And sometimes people think that your life is amazing, but you still have to grow. So nothing really crazy happened. I mean, I'm not perfect. Trust me, I haven't. I mean, I've done some things that I'm not proud of, and I think that we all have. But for the most part, I just think that I've been in a unique position to learn and to mature and just to grow.
Do you prefer women in your age bracket?
Um,
No.
Put it like this: I'm a grown man. Grown men like grown women. Like, so I don't expect you to show up, looking like you're 25. I'm a grown man, so like, having had kids, or maybe fitness maybe not your biggest thing. Like, I can respect all of that, but at the end of the day, I'm in a unique position where a lot of women don't believe I'm as old as I am
Right.
until we talk, and the conversation goes a certain way, and the music that I kind of still like looks a kind of certain way. So, but my age bracket is usually, I have to be honest, it's from about 36 to about 43. That's kind of where I hover. I would.
Yeah. Um. Not too surprised by that. You know, this guy, man. Mo shouldn't be entertaining this. It's kind of hard for me to listen to. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna get through on this, y'all. But I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. But he said that he's not perfect. He was out here chasing skirts. Let's keep it real. He was out here chasing skirts. This guy is a walking red flag. You have 55 and your longest relationships was 4 years. 4 years. Each. I had girlfriends for longer than that. And I was married for much longer than that. I don't know. 4 years is no time. 4 years is around the time when you get to know somebody. So this guy's a walking red flag. Ladies, stay away from Mizell. I mean, anyway, let's go in.
And women mature so much faster than men. So, some women been
I
grown
don't
since
want
they
to
was
hear
12.
that.
Meaning like helping take care of siblings and having to be responsible in the house and kind of understanding what that looks like as well. So, but
Now he keep using this trope. Women mature faster than men. I'm gonna call BS on that. Okay, and let me tell you why. Girls mature faster than boys, but men mature faster than women. We can agree to disagree. That's where I stand on that. Yes, girls mature faster than boys, but around that teenage time when them hormones hit, it switches. The boys start to mature faster than the girls. The girls start to, especially emotionally, they really start to slow down on their maturity. Okay, I've seen it way too many times. Emotionally, women, they hit a wall when it comes to maturity. But the men start to mature because they have to. They have to go out in the world and they have to get it. Nothing is given to the men. Nothing. They are not coddled at all by society, by even their parents. Nobody. They have to mature. They have to go out here and be soldiers and go and get it. So this whole women mature faster than men, that is only until adolescence, as far as I'm concerned. And once that passes and the teenage years pass, men start to pass women up I mean, and the reason they pass women up is because they have to. I will give it around that 25-year-old mark. Once, or they say your brain is not done, your frontal lobe is not done maturing until around 25, 26. Around that time is when men start to pass women up in maturity. I've seen it way too much. And they have to, because they have to go out here and get it, and that's around the time when men start thinking family. When they fully mature that frontal lobe, men start to pass women. Women are very mature, and women can be responsible but not mature. Men can too. But the overwhelming majority, I would say, is, I just believe personally, and you ain't got to agree with this, girls mature faster than boys, but men mature faster than women. That's just my own anecdotal experience, and I'll admit that. But let's go back in.
No, I do not have I don't have a specific age range. I just need to be I need to be attracted to the person, and I need that person to be loving herself for it to have any gravity to it.
Gotcha. Okay.
That is a pretty big gap, though, Mizell. For 55 to 36. 36 and 55 is a big age gap.
So, and then let me say this, like, I don't choose 36-year-olds. Maybe, they look for a more mature man sometimes that, still have a real youthful disposition. So it's not like that's what I'm out. I'm not hunting for anything.
No.
So, you see what I'm saying? So I'm not looking for that, but I kind of hover in that range just for the simple fact that those are the women who are attracted to me. A lot of more mature women and seasoned women, like, they're kind of intimidated by a lot of different things. And
what is your age? Because the ladies are asking.
I just turned 53, right? And
so what's your bracket that you like to date in?
Between 40 and maybe 55. But the problem is, when it gets closer to my age, I feel like I'm late to the party. By the time I meet them, they're tired, they're angry. A lot of them are bitter. And I'm trying to, this wall is built up, and I have to deal with that. I feel like I said, I'm late to the party. The person they gave their all to, they don't have that energy no more. And it's just it's this hurdle I have to go through. And I don't date younger women, so I'm stuck in this crazy space.
So. Mizell, Mo went out with a woman, and I think she had a new hip. She had a hip replacement.
No, I did not go out with them. You wanted me to go out with them. I told you I did not go out with that lady.
Chick had a hip replacement. Ain't nothing wrong with a hip replacement, but man, if you got to deal with dentures, hip replacements, bifocals, wigs, Geritol, salon paws, Vaseline, what else? All these, AARP ailments. I mean, it can get a little unsexy. Let's just put it that way. It can kind of kill the romance. I'm just saying. When you got Geritol, it's come on. A lot of the things the guys are saying right now, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with. I kind of agree with them on this part of it. Let's go back in.
It was a lady that was an option, and she had a hip replacement. And so anyway, Mizell, tell us, what is your type? What is besides being active, besides liking to travel, besides having a youthful spirit, what is your physical type? What is Mizell just instinctively attracted to?
I like a I like a woman that knows how to be sexy. I like women, so I'm not gonna say that I like one particular, nationality of a woman. I just like a woman who knows how to be sexy and just has a certain style and class about her. I like women that are natural. We live in a time where, it's okay to do whatever you need to do to enhance yourself. But I come from an era where the only person that wore wigs was old ladies.
Mm.
Like I got to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like I have 4 brothers. My mom had, my parents had 5 boys. My mom used to sit us and grease our scalp and do things like to take that little bit of extra care. So it's really hard. But just to say, I don't like. I mean, I like, fit women. I like, slim women. I like voluptuous, curvy women. I like women. Like I'm a heterosexual masculine male. I don't have no feminine energy about me. So I like a woman. And that comes in different shapes, sizes, and fashions. And when you sometimes see a man with a woman, you be like, how they hooked up? Because she a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because because she's a woman. So that's how they hooked up. So you got to kind of get outside of the box of, and man, women are amazing. All women are. So, and I mean, and it doesn't want to sound like Mo and I are just kind of like talking about, because it's a lot of amazing, active, more mature women that have a zest for life and will still outdrink you, outhang you, and do all of those things. But at the end of the day, can we just kind of sit and enjoy and know how to be in each other's space and not be in each other's space and know what that looks like?
I like that.
Women are concerned about men having erectile dysfunction from diabetes or other medical reasons. They can be in 30s or 60 years old. That's what Edna Perkins wrote. That's what the reading says. That women are concerned with men having erectile dysfunction. From diabetes. That's a real thing. I've heard women, be concerned about that. I ain't never had diabetes. I ain't never had ED. Okay, those are not my problems. Knock on some wood here. Okay. But that always seemed to be the issue with women, is with older men. They feel like men older, they can't. I don't know. Is that or like, I'll put it this way: she's not the first one to really say that. So it must really be a thing. Are these brothers out here not taking care of themselves, or is diabetes really a thing? I know, I'm sure it is in the black community and ED and all that other stuff. Don't men got the blue pill now? Ain't that something that men can, combat or get rid of? Just fill out a prescription. That should take care of the ED. I mean, ain't it as simple as that? I don't know. I don't know what they can do about diabetes, but both the men and the women get that. It ain't just men. But I don't know. Let's go in.
Mizell said he ain't got no type. He likes women. I love it. Just women. It could be different. And I think men find beauty in a lot of different places. It depends on what that woman's flavor is and what he's attracted to at that time. So coming on the show, where were you at in dating at that point? You're in New Orleans. Were you dating? Had you taken a break? What was going on in your life when you started the show?
I had taken a break from dating. I was dating someone and it didn't work out, and not for any particular reason of anything crazy, but just, everyone is dealing with their own past relationship situations when it comes to trust or when it comes to other issues. And no matter how much you desire and think that and are trying to give them what they need, they can only do that for themselves. So I had taken a break because it was someone I was kind of really deep into. This opportunity came and it just kind of happened. And so I was kind of in a place that I was kind of taking a break when this opportunity came. Never with the notion of going on the show to find love, but to have an opportunity to represent love in a certain way.
And you thought it was a situation where you guys, like the regular Ready to Love, it was a situation where you guys were going to be picking the women, correct?
Well, it was supposed to be, the old show, 10 men, 10 women, everyone gets to mingle. They gets to, they get to decide if they want
Right.
to go out. They get a chance to get together with the host and figure out who they figure want to stay, who want to go. Like
Gotcha.
all of this was kind of thrown at us at the last minute. Like had no idea that it was this.
Yeah, and that is the part that really kind of get got me salty because I think the OWN channel changed the format. It was supposed to be, from what I understand, it was supposed to be Ready to Love, like the senior edition, just like The Bachelor is doing this senior edition Bachelor or whatever. It was supposed to be older people, I believe 50 and above, that was supposed to be on a more mature RTL. And they changed the format. They seen the love experiment and said, that must be the way to do it. So let's do that. Let's do the love experiment way. Let's just give women free reign. We're just going to have a couple women to focus, and they're going to have free reign over all these men. Maybe that'll draw in more viewers from the ladies. What about the men? Oh, the hell with the men. They're not watching anyway. So we got to cater to our women. So let's give the women all the power, and change the format, and damn the men. They'll be they're items to be shopped. The women can go shopping for whatever man they want. They're commodities at this point, just to be plucked, and they gotta abide. They gotta pretty much bend on knee to get these women approval. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic, but I just did not like the fact that they did the switcheroo, and he's kind of proven that they did do a switcheroo. It was supposed to be a regular season of Ready to Love, and whoever higher ups, executive producers or whoever, they switched the format, and they brung in, I don't know if they did a survey or something, and this is what the women wanted to see. We like to go shopping for men. We like to be in power and ultimate power, and have the men pick us and all this other stuff. So they said, you know what, we're going to change the format. Ready to Love, if I'm being honest, Ready to Love ain't hasn't been as very successful with coupling, but at the same time is more entertainment and more it's more of a reflection of what's out here, in my opinion. This whole women having all the power and stuff, this ain't realistic. Okay, Ready to Love is more real, even in its imperfections, than this Make a Move stuff or this love experiment stuff. Okay, this TV is creating a fantasy instead of replicating the real world. So I got a bone to pick with OWN for switching up the format and trying to copy the love experiment, because it just is making men grovel. It's not a realistic depiction of what's out here, and it's turning men off. I do these reviews strictly for y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I do these reviews strictly for y'all. I could still probably watch RTL on my own, but all this other stuff, I do it for y'all. So hit the like while show me some love. Hit the like button at least. Help me out with the algorithm. All right. Let's go back in.
So that's what my next question was going to be like. What were your thoughts when you first saw her? Were you excited? Is she your physical type? Were you attracted to her when you guys first saw each other? And what was the chemistry, the conversation like?
She was definitely attractive, easy on the eye, but the chemistry was cool because initially, when we met and she walked in the door, I'm from Louisiana. Like, when we greet, we hug, so I shook her hand and I introduced her and I tried to hug. She was like, oh, and which I can understand, because you don't know me from Adam, so.
Yeah, Sharice, she seems to have some trauma somewhere. She moves so traumatic. When the other guy tried to hug her, she was like, "Oh, don't hug me. Did I tell you could put your arm there or whatever?" And she didn't want to hug Mizell, and strangers. She don't really dig with strangers. She locked Zadia outside of the house. She didn't want men coming into the house. You know, there is some trauma with this woman, and look, it happens. People gotta respect it. I definitely respect it, but a part of me says, if you're ready to date, you probably should get some help on this trauma thing first. Why don't you get some help on this trauma and then come back and try and date? But it suggests to me that she's not ready to date because she's not going to really let herself be vulnerable. In order to fall in love, you have to be vulnerable. And this is probably another reason why Sharice has yet to find a man at her age. It's not her looks, but she is so trauma driven. Even with the other ladies, she's trauma driven. She puts out a level of fear to everybody to protect herself. I don't know what happened to Sharice. Obviously, I don't know this woman. But she must have a level of trauma that she is dealing with that I would suggest she's not ready for dating. She just not. Go fix your trauma. Go fix your trauma. You don't want people touching you. Now, in defense of her, she did cuddle up with Mizell and let Mizell hug and kiss her once she felt comfortable with him. I get that. But all it's going to take is something small for her to go back into her shell like a turtle. All it's going to take is something, it's probably not going to have to be anything that's very major. Maybe she, who knows? Who knows what'll happen? The fact that he talked to Vernisha, that might be enough to get her to go back into her shell and not trust him anymore. I think she gave him a chance when she asked him, so where do we go from here? He messed that up. But in my opinion, Sharice moves with a certain level of trauma that is uninviting, unwelcoming. It's not attractive to men. And I probably think that that's at least some of what Mizell was reading with Sharice that he wasn't really attracted to. That's just a guess. I'm not in Mizell's head, but that was just a guess. But in my opinion, she has to seek more therapy before she's ready to date. Let's go back in.
I didn't take any offense to it. I just been like, you really haven't, to me, I felt like you hadn't really been around a gentleman who have no intent or intention other than to make you feel safe here. So if us not hugging makes you feel comfortable, then great. And as you see, we warmed up. Conversation was cool. It was my first time. You probably saw a lot of the nervousness. It was cameras and people around. And that was our literally first time talking when she walked up and we met. We didn't get a chance to kind of like chop it up before that. So it was kind of awkward, but it was cool because as you saw, we were able to kind of gauge each other in a way where we ignored everything that was going on around us. And I felt that coming from her as well.
No, that's how it came across on the camera. So, yeah.
Did you, was she, I like the fact that you said, did you know who you were meeting? Did you know you didn't know who you were meeting before you walked in?
I had no idea. Never saw a picture. Didn't know at all who I was meeting.
Okay. So the conversation was good. You're into like what when you guys come on these dates? Because I'm interested to know, like, do the men think that they can pursue the woman outside of the show? Are you told to just wait for her to contact you? What is
so
your head?
Right. So just like I said, we kind of go in not knowing a whole lot, but also we're adults and we're grown. So it was said that it would be okay for us to exchange numbers and to be able to talk. She and I, we did do that after we finished, because I never brought my phone on set with me. I don't bring my phone on dates when I go. So, I'm just not connected to technology. I'm from an age bracket that I don't want to be connected like that. We exchanged numbers. And then once I left, I reached out to her that night, told her that I had a great time. I'm looking forward to us seeing each other. And I even asked her, if possible, if you have the time, could we do something in New Orleans outside of this?
Okay.
But we never had it. But we never had a chance to be able to do that because of their schedule.
I want to read this message. Vacation Every Day said, Sharice is from Baltimore. We don't hug strange men right away. So apparently this is a Baltimore thing. Women don't hug strange men right away, and I get it. To me, I don't know what's going on in Baltimore, but it kind of looks like trauma to me. I don't know how the men are. I don't know what the culture is there. But if you don't hug, and I'm not saying you should hug strange men, but some places in the world you can hug a woman and it's not a big deal. Some places in the world you can't hug a woman and it's a big deal if you do. That would suggest that those two cultures on different places in the world, there is something going on that will allow and won't allow for that type of behavior. So my conclusion is there's something nefarious or something egregious going on in Baltimore to where women don't trust to hug men. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's not any fault of their own, probably. But it gives off trauma. It just gives off trauma. And if it is trauma, it just is. But it's noticeable. Because when you're that guarded, it's hard to connect with somebody, especially on the first date. Okay? It's just hard to connect with someone. So I don't know. I'm not suggesting, ladies, that you should hug strange men. I'm not suggesting that. But Sharice comes off guarded to me to the point where she comes off as someone who is just really hard to connect with. And maybe that's why it's been so hard for her to connect to a guy. Anyway, let's go back in.
What is going on in your head when you see the other ladies?
Initially, before we ever, went to meet the ladies, all of the gentlemen who were there for the party, it's 4 ladies, it's like 7 guys that showed up. So we having a chance to kind of mingle, and I had never met anybody or seen any of the other guys. And then, so you finding out like who went out with who, and just kind of like engaging each other in that sense. I was excited. It was a birthday party. I'm a gentleman. Like I had gotten some. I have a friend that family has a candy shop. I bought something for the birthday girl, and I bought something for all the other ladies to share. A nice sweet treat like some New Orleans pralines and chocolate covered candy apples and stuff like that. So once I went on set and saw all of the other ladies, it was just kind of nice. I went through, I introduced everybody. I saved Sharice for last. She even whispered kind of in my ear. She was like, "Oh, so you waited for me?"
Sharon Smith said, "Yes, let's go to the birthday party." Shout out to Sharon Smith. That's one of my homies. She commented on Crystals. I was like, "Oh, okay. I see you, girl." Yeah, but she said, "Yeah, let's go to the birthday party." I guess she was excited about them going to the birthday party. Just had to shout out her real quick. Anyway, let's go back in.
And so we'll kind of get y'all to ride home, and we'll let you know if we find your bag. Well, I got my house keys, I got my car key, and I had all of those things in the bag. She asked to help with that. She was getting ready to leave, so she was like, "Well, let me know if they find your bag." I was like, "Well, I don't have my phone." She said, "Well, give me your number." Me give her my number. I'll call you and let me know if they find your bag. That's how the whole number situation came. It was never her and I flirting. I'm worried about if you lose your purse at a function and Roscoe help you, snotty nose, you're gonna think that's endearing, because if everybody else walk by you and Roscoe help, and I'm not saying that she's Roscoe, I don't want to give that impression, Mo, because she's a very attractive woman, but you would be very thoughtful of that person helping you. So that's how the whole number thing was exchanged.
In the bag, and you couldn't find the bag. How did y'all guys exchange the numbers?
She said, "Well, give me your number."
Okay.
So because you got to remember, I don't have my phone. My phone is in my bag. So she asks me to give her my number. I give her the number. By the time I made it home, she had called my phone. Remember, I lived in Houston. I see 832. So I initially got home. The first thing I did when I got home, I called Sharice and let her know that they had found my bag. Okay. She didn't even remember me telling her that until at the mixer. It's a whole lot that we're going to try to get into tonight. You know what I'm saying? But and then I text Vernisha to like, "Hey, they found my bag." She was like, "Cool." We text a few messages back and forth, and that pretty was it. And then so I was like, it would be nice for us to be able to talk again. She was like, "We can." She was like, "Ask them for us to go on a date." I'm like, I didn't even know that was a part. So she asked me to ask them to ask, "Can we go out on a date?"
You did say it would be nice for us to be able to talk again. So that is you acknowledging that you do want to get to know her better.
I just like I said, I'm looking at it from this perspective, like having mixers and how people are engaged. Just so I'm not. First of all, it was never even presented that we could do that. And then secondly, like I was interested in getting to know Sharice. Now, was it a little bit flirtatious? Maybe. Like I'm not gonna dismiss that, but my intent and my eyes.
I think it would be good if you just yes, that's flirtatious.
Right, exactly. Okay. So, but then she put it out there, was like, "Well, ask them for us to go on a date." I am a heterosexual male. If I want to go out on a date with a woman, don't think I'm not gonna be like you all know what? I've gone out with Sharice, but I would love for us to have an opportunity to go out. I wouldn't have had any problem saying that, if that was my true intent. And would say that with gravity.
I want to say to the chat that Mizell does have receipts. He's not lying. That is the way it went. That is the way it went as far as Vernisha saying, "Ask them, can we have a date?" He's not lying about that. I am here to say there are receipts for that.
All right. Got to deal with this whole bag thing and Vernisha asking them to set them up on a date. Do I give Mizell a pass for that? Part of me don't believe all of it, to be honest. But at the same time, it's plausible. He sound like he's trying to put it all on Vernicia, and like, oh, he was just the perfect gentleman, and she was like, give me your number and ask the producers to put us out on a date and all. Like, she was super aggressive. It's hard for me to believe that. I would have to get her side of that story to believe that part. Like, he was flirtatious. Everybody's seen that. Mizell come across to me a bit weaselly. I'm gonna be honest. He come off a bit weaselly to me. I'm not saying some of it is not plausible. Look, man, you clearly was feeling Vernicia, and can no man on the earth really blame you, okay? You was feeling her, but just admit that, man. Just admit that. And I know you're trying to save your image and not look like a weasel, but the problem I guess I have with that is even at the mixer, Tamika didn't believe you, okay? She didn't even believe it. She thought it was bull. I'm not sure what Vernicia thought about that, but I'm sure if she heard his version, I would probably guarantee you she has a different version of how things went down. So I can't give him a full pass on that, because I know he cares about how his image is. This is why he's a gym rat. This is why he want to flex his arms. This is why he, seems to lie. This guy is super concerned about his image, super concerned. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, but he is his image and how he looks is very important to him. And there's some perks in that too. He stays in good shape. He good at dancing. So it's some good parts about it. But he's very careful with his image. And I get that. But being that careful with your image, you could also try to mislead people too. Okay? And I'm not ready to say that he's not trying to lead people, meaning lie, pretty much. So I would have to give Vernicia's side of that story to really dig into it and say, you know what? Okay, if she co-signs on all that stuff, then I'll let it go. But I would have to hear her side to really let that go. He already admitted to not being very mature for his age. So I'm not ready to put it past him to, try to protect his image. Let's just put it that way. I'm not going to continue on with this. I think I got the gist of the Mizell story for now. If you want to see the rest of the interview, go to Crystal page, okay, and check out the interview with Mizell. It's called Midweek Check-In on RTL, Make a Move with Mizell. Shout out to Crystal. Shout out to Moe. Shout out to Mizell. All right, for even coming on the show and explaining his explanation. Okay. Shout out to him for doing that. I know I did that on purpose, but you know what I'm saying. I kid. Anyway, hit the like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. I really would appreciate it, and I'll catch you in another one. Peace.